Hello and welcome to this introductory video to the NIPAD, the Northern Ireland Practice Assessment Document. In this short video we're going to go through the ABCs of the NIPAD and you will be able to follow up with further videos that will go through each section of the NIPAD in detail. So the Northern Ireland Practice Assessment Document has been developed for students undertaking NMC approved programs in Northern Ireland. These introductory videos to go through the different sections of the NIPAD are intended for students who are undertaking those NMC approved programs and for those supporting them in practice, and this includes practice supervisors, practice assessors, academic assessors, which includes linked lecturers, linked tutors, and also the nominated person. So the NIPAD has been regionally co-designed and agreed in Northern Ireland, and this development has included students, current mentors, practice partners and academics, among other stakeholders. The principles of the NIPAD translate across all NMC approved programs, so that includes pre-registration programs and post-registration nursing programs. So while you will see in the 5 videos going through the detailed sections of the NIPAD, largely referring to the adult pre-registration program, these principles translate across the other fields and into post-registration programs. The NIPAD will be used by students on pre-registration programs approved under the 2018 NMC standards from September 2020 onwards, and this will also apply to some post-registration programs who will move onto the NIPAD from September 2020 also. So what is new in the NIPAD? Well, the first important thing to highlight is that supervision and assessment roles have changed. So instead of mentors and sign-off mentors, we now have practice supervisors, practice assessors, academic assessors, and we also have the linked lecturer role, linked tutor role remaining, and we also have the nominated person. So those who supervise students are not the people who assess them, but those people work together to provide a comprehensive support system and assessment process for students in practice. There's a greater focus on understanding all 4 fields of practice, regardless of which field of practice your student is undertaking on pre-registration programs. So if you're an adult student, you're still expected to know about mental health, children's nursing and learning disability nursing. There's an increased emphasis on teamwork and leadership, and this is borne out in the activities that students have to undertake in the NIPAD across each part of the programme. Another important component of the NIPAD is that it is student-led. This means that it's the student's responsibility to look at what proficiencies they need to develop in terms of evidence, in terms of nursing procedures, in terms of communication and relationship skills, etc. And they need to plan out their development and their learning needs and opportunities in order to achieve those. So they must do this prior to commencement of practice learning, and they must do that at the beginning of each practice learning experience. And then sit down and discuss those with the practice supervisors and practice assessors. Now, this does not mean that the students are entirely responsible. It means that the students must look and set out all those needs, but they must be supported in getting access to those learning opportunities in order to develop that evidence and those proficiencies. So in this respect, the NIPAD then requires students to evidence their achievements. That evidence must be authenticated, that it is to standard and that it is accurate, and that's where the practice supervisors, practice assessors role steps in and should only ever authenticate evidence that is to standard and that demonstrates achievement of proficiencies. Within the NIPAD then there are expanded nursing procedures and skills around communication and relationship management. Some of these nursing procedures were not traditionally taught in pre-registration programs before, for example, intravenous cannulation and intravenous drug administration, and there are a number of advanced communication and relationship skills that need to be developed, and students must be provided with the opportunities in order to develop proficiencies in these skills. Now, the advantage of an iPad is that students now have the same assessment and evidence document for all three universities in Northern Ireland. So if they're coming from the Open University, Ulster University or Queen's University Belfast, then they'll all have the same document, and so that will promote familiarisation with the processes within the iPad, regardless of where that student comes from. So, in preparing to use an iPad, there are some important steps to take. It's important that anybody who's going to use an iPad, so that's students, practice supervisors, practice assessors, academic assessors, like lecturers, like tutors, and the nominated person, must read the Practice Learning Handbook and become familiar with it. The Practice Learning Handbook will provide you with the details of how the iPad works, but it also provides other relevant policies and procedures that relate to practice learning under these new standards. We've prepared 5 videos on different sections of the iPad itself to provide you with the detail within each section and how each section works. So that's around the core information within the iPad, the records of discussions and feedback, which make up part of the ongoing record of achievement required by the NMC, the additional record sheets that are available to be used by those supporting students to guide students and to recognise some excellence in learning or from areas of development. There's a larger video around evidencing achievement that students in particular should watch, but also anybody supporting them who's going to authenticate that evidence. And then the final video is around assessment and practice, namely the formative and summative assessments. As with any tool or any document, familiarisation and use of an iPad will improve its use. It's important to recognise that using a portfolio of any kind will enhance the ability to use it well, and that will occur over time. So in considering some of those elements of the iPad, it's important to highlight that the iPad is not just about assessment, that it is a tool that should develop learning and signpost learning. It's a record of that learning, and importantly, it's a medium for critical discussion around that learning and the learning needs and a sharing of that learning. So all that remains for me to say is thank you, and for you to now proceed to the next videos and go through the 5 videos to learn about the individual sections of the iPad itself. Thank you for your attention.